Have you ever trusted someone so deeply that when they left, it changed the way you see love forever? At first, they made you feel special. They gave you attention. They promised loyalty. They made you believe the connection was real. But slowly, something changed. The text became colder. The effort disappeared. The emotional distance grew larger every day. And eventually, they walked away. The worst part about heartbreak is not always losing someone. Sometimes the worst pain comes from never truly understanding why they left. Tonight, psychotherapy is uncovering the hidden psychological reasons people leave relationships and why their departure often becomes the beginning of your transformation. Stay until sign 10, because that truth changes the way most people view heartbreak forever. And if you enjoy psychology, emotional healing, and deep relationship truths, subscribe to Psychotherapy for more powerful content. Sign 1, they left because you started seeing their real personality. At the beginning, many people wear emotional masks. They appear loyal. They appear caring. They say everything you want to hear. But eventually, maintaining a false image becomes exhausting. You started noticing inconsistencies. You noticed emotional distance. You noticed their words and actions no longer matched. And the moment you began questioning their behavior, they changed. Why? Because emotionally immature people become uncomfortable when someone sees through them. Sometimes people leave not because you were difficult to love, but because you became difficult to deceive. Sign 2, they loved validation more than commitment. One of the biggest psychological problems in modern relationships is that many people confuse attention with love. They enjoy compliments. They enjoy emotional excitement. They enjoy being admired and desired. But commitment is different. Commitment requires emotional maturity. Commitment requires consistency. Validation-driven. People often love the feeling you give them more than they love the relationship itself. That's why everything feels powerful in the beginning. But once the relationship becomes calm and emotionally stable, their energy changes. Because they were addicted to emotional highs, not genuine emotional responsibility. You thought you were building a future together, but they were only chasing temporary feelings. Sign 3, your loyalty made them feel guilty. Some people do not truly want love. They want attention. They enjoy compliments. They enjoy being desired. They enjoy emotional excitement. But commitment requires maturity. Validation-driven. People often lose interest once relationships become emotionally stable instead of emotionally exciting. That's why they give intense energy in the beginning, then slowly disappear. You thought you were building something real, but they were only chasing feelings. Sign 3, your loyalty made them feel guilty. Some people do not truly want love. They want attention. They enjoy compliments. They enjoy being desired. They enjoy emotional excitement. But commitment requires maturity. Validation-driven people often lose interest once relationships become emotionally stable instead of emotionally exciting. That's why they give intense energy in the beginning, then slowly disappear. You thought you were building something real, but they were only chasing feelings. Sign 4, they wanted control, not healthy love. Some people enjoy emotional power more than genuine connection. They like being chased. They like controlling your emotions. They like knowing your happiness depends on them. But once you started healing, the dynamic changed. You stopped begging. You stopped chasing. You started protecting your peace. And suddenly they became distant. Because control disappears when healing begins. Some people don't miss you. They miss the emotional control they once had over you. Sign 5. They were fighting internal battles. Not everyone who leaves is intentionally cruel. Some people are emotionally damaged. They fear intimacy. They fear vulnerability. They fear emotional attachment. Many people carry unresolved trauma from childhood, past relationships, or painful emotional experiences. And instead of healing properly, they suppress everything. But suppressed emotional pain always appears eventually. So when relationships become serious, they panic. They withdraw emotionally. They sabotage connection. They create distance. They suddenly become cold, not because you were unworthy, but because closeness activated fears they never healed. Psychology teaches us that emotionally avoidant people often desire love deeply while simultaneously fearing it. Part of them wants connection. Another part fears emotional dependency. That internal conflict creates confusion not only for them, but also for the people who genuinely love them. Sometimes the person hurting you is also emotionally broken inside. Again, that does not excuse betrayal, but it explains why some people destroy healthy relationships, while secretly craving love at the same time. Broken people sometimes hurt others while trying to protect themselves from pain. Sign 6. They thought something better existed. Modern relationships are heavily influenced by social media and endless options. Many people constantly believe someone better is waiting, someone more attractive, someone more exciting, someone more perfect. So instead of appreciating loyalty and peace, they chase temporary excitement. But eventually, reality teaches them something painful. Attraction is common. Real emotional safety is rare. And many people only recognize your value after losing you. Sign 7. Your growth intimidated them. Some people secretly prefer the insecure version of you, because insecure people are easier to control. But healing changes everything. You started respecting yourself. You started setting boundaries. You stopped tolerating disrespect. And instead of celebrating your growth, they became uncomfortable. Why? Because your transformation reminded them of everything they refused to change within themselves. Sign 8. They couldn't handle real emotional intimacy. Real love requires vulnerability. It requires honesty. It requires communication. It requires emotional exposure. And emotionally unavailable people often fear those things. At first, they enjoy connection. But once attachment becomes deeper, fear appears. So they suddenly become distant. They ask for space. They act confused. They pull away emotionally. Sometimes the person leaving you is not escaping the relationship. They are escaping emotional vulnerability. Sign 9. Losing you felt easier than changing themselves. Growth is painful. Healing requires accountability. Changing toxic behavior requires emotional discipline. And many people would rather lose someone valuable than confront their own flaws. So instead of fixing communication, they leave. Instead of healing emotional wounds, they leave. Instead of becoming emotionally mature, they leave. But avoidance never solves internal problems. That's why many people repeat the same toxic patterns in every relationship they enter. Sign 10, their leaving became your transformation. At first, heartbreak feels like destruction. You lose peace. You lose trust. You lose emotional stability. Some nights feel unbearable. Some memories refuse to leave your mind. But slowly, pain changes you. You stop ignoring red flags. You stop begging for bare minimum love. You stop abandoning yourself to keep other people comfortable. And one day you realize something shocking. The person who left you unknowingly helped transform you into someone stronger. The betrayal increased your wisdom. The loneliness taught you self-respect. The heartbreak forced emotional growth. Sometimes losing the wrong person becomes the beginning of finding yourself. Your healing becomes your closure. And one day, the pain that once broke you may become the reason. You evolve into the strongest version of yourself. Thank you for watching Psychotherapy. If this video connected with you emotionally, subscribe for more deep psychological truths, emotional healing content, and powerful relationship insights designed to help you become mentally stronger. And comment below, which sign hit you the hardest and why? At first, heartbreak feels like destruction. You lose peace. You lose trust. You lose emotional stability. But slowly, pain changes you. You stop ignoring red flags. You stop begging for bare minimum love. You stop abandoning yourself to keep other people comfortable. And one day you realize something shocking. The person who left you unknowingly helped transform you into someone stronger. The betrayal increased your wisdom. The loneliness taught you self-respect. The heartbreak forced emotional growth. Sometimes losing the wrong person becomes the beginning of finding yourself. So if someone recently walked away from your life, remember this. Their decision to leave does not decrease your value. Some people leave because they are emotionally unprepared for real love. Some people leave because healing scares them. Some people leave because your growth threatens their control. But your future still exists. Your happiness still exists. Your healing still exists. And one day, the pain that once broke you may become the reason. You evolve into the strongest version of yourself. Thank you for watching Psychotherapy. If this video connected with you, subscribe for more deep psychological truths, emotional healing content, and relationship insights. And comment below, which sign hit you the hardest?